From Henry Ford's first car company to Red Bull's all-new Hypercar, this episode explores the evolution of the automobile. Plus, the Honda Element might be coming back, the last VW Type 1 rolls off the assembly line, and we go for a Sunday cruise on the moon. Stay tuned for an out-of-this-world episode.
It's time to cruise the highways and byways of the auto industry's past, present, and future. This is the Drive History Podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Drive History Podcast. We're back in the driver's seat over here. There's Jordan Stead. I'm Brian Corey. Long time no see.
Yeah, man. Episode 25.
Big deal.
1/4 of 100.
You're pretty good at math.
Yeah. What do they call 100-year-old people? Centurions?
Yeah.
Not a centaur. Centurion.
A centurion, yes.
Yeah. So.
And they only live in blue zones, apparently.
Yeah, which I don't think we're in, but we're a quarter centurion, dude. This podcast is a quarter centurion.
Man, it's getting old fast. They can rent a car now?
Yeah, what's going on?
Dang. Speaking of 25, that's a good number. If you had, let's say, $2,500 to buy a car.
Yeah.
What do you do with it?
Geo Metro.
Ooh.
Shitty eBay turbo kit. Blow it up in a week.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
What about you?
Probably get like an e-bike.
Nice. Just hard pivot. Love it. Completely baited me. I totally fell for it. And you came up with a much better use than $2,500.
Oh, man.
You know what's a crazy number? 55. You know why?
That's how old you are?
No, although I feel like it. I'm coming up on it.
2 decades.
The 2025 mid-cycle refresh of the Cadillac Escalade, which is the gigantic SUV the Cadillac has made for a long time. Yeah. Right now, for this new refresh, it features a standard 55-inch diagonal display screen across the dash, including a passenger-only screen.
That's insane.
Dude,
I don't even have a TV that big.
That is insane. I'm 6 feet tall. It's almost that long diagonally.
So what? So it's the whole.
It's the whole car.
Yeah.
The car is just a screen.
It's not even just like across the dash. It actually wraps around, goes like down the sides of the car. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah.
All I can think about is what happens when your spouse is passenger princing or passenger princessing and just like puts their foot through the side of the screen on a road trip.
On the dash, yep.
How do you even replace a 55-inch screen? I think I know the answer. I think you have to take the whole thing out. And can you imagine what that thing costs to replace?
Oh my God. You just buy a new car at that point.
Also, what the fuck is happening on 55 inches of screen?
Yeah, I mean, that seems like a distraction more than anything.
Totally. You can't watch like Netflix on it, of course, because it's 55 inches diagonal, but it's probably 4 inches high.
That's a good point. You might be able to play some solitaire.
I hope.
Somebody, anyway. I feel like if you're driving one of those cars, the passenger is like 4 feet away from the driver, I guess. It seems like there's just like a big gap there. Yeah. I mean, that's first class. Yeah.
You know what it's not as cool as is in Ferraris, how there's like, on some new Ferraris, there's little screens that show the passenger only like the speed and the torque and the horsepower figure that you're currently reaching.
Oh, wow. I didn't know
at that time. Yeah. So it kind of like, you know, if you ever have ghost braking when you're like, you know, you're hitting the passenger footwell when someone's driving you shitty, like imagine that times 10 when you're in a Ferrari and you see 100% of the horsepower is being used or whatever. I love it.
Yeah, you're only going 148.
That's true. But back to the Escalade. I would love to have a screen in a car for once in my life. It actually occurred to me as I was reading this fact.
Never had it.
I've never had a car with a screen in it that I've owned personally. I have like a shitty head unit in my Forester that doesn't really count.
Yeah.
I've had the Fiat, which has 0 screens. The Miata, obviously 0 screens.
Yeah.
A Mazda 6, 0 screens.
Maybe a windscreen.
Yeah. God, I think maybe if I think back in time, I think that car had a windshield. Yeah, I've never had a screen. And I think that that's very uncommon.
I mean, I'm the same way almost, only in that the Baja, which is from 2006, somebody previously installed a head unit in it.
A smart person.
Yeah, which makes the car feel brand new.
Yeah, it really does.
So
totally. If you can like plug into any car and get CarPlay or Android Auto too, you feel like an absolute rich person.
Oh man, I would love to just install some of that into your Geo Metro that you just bought for $2,500.
Oh my god, just a turbo kit and an Android Auto.
You got
That's
it.
all you need.
That's all you need.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the Cadillac. They are increasing production of the 2025 V Series trim, which is the cool trim, after not even being able to meet demand for the current model year. If you don't know what that is, the Escalade V features a supercharged 6.2 liter V8 engine capable of 682 horsepower and 653 pound-feet of torque, and the thing sounds absolutely demonic.
Man,
I know.
Cadillac is sick.
They are.
Cadillac's like on the come up. I mean, they've been doing some cool stuff for the past 15 years or so. Like the CTS V wagon, like bam.
Yeah. The Escalade looks so sick.
Yeah, it's like peak right now.
It is. Yeah, I feel like they went all in on the design. Like, you could have half-assed that design and it would have been totally forgettable. Yeah. But they're like, no, we're going full-on rolling armored assault luxury vehicle.
It's a monstrosity in the best way.
Yes.
Man, speaking of crazy designs, I was down at the patent office the other day, just like digging through some stuff.
Go on.
Turns out Honda just filed a couple new patents that are fairly reminiscent of the Element.
Ooh.
Which has not been produced for more than a decade at this point. They filed 2 patents suggesting a possible revival of the Element, featuring a boxy off-road oriented design with expandable camper attachments, which is pretty exciting. I mean, the original Element was like a pretty outdoorsy car, right? But it seems like they're going all in on it this time. Another design includes a compact pickup truck with an adjustable cargo partition. It's got that same blocky, rugged appearance. And it seems that this would compete with the Santa Cruz and the Ford Maverick.
Yeah.
Which is exciting. I think that's a segment that's definitely in need of some competition.
Totally. And it was dead as a doornail for so long, and then now it's coming back.
Yeah. Looking at the patent drawing for the truck version, though, it looks like this might be a 2-door or maybe like a 2-door with like a third door kind of option. Mm-hmm. So that's exciting. It would be like a Jeep Wrangler with a truck bed, like not the Gladiator because it's got 4 doors. Yeah, but the OG Wrangler.
Yeah, I could see that.
2-door Wrangler should be kind of cool.
Yeah, I am absolutely shocked that the Element has not been a continual offering from Honda. It feels like the most obvious vehicle to be producing from now until forever. Everyone loves them.
Yeah.
People loved them before. They love them now. You see them all over the place. People are driving them to 400,000 or 500,000 miles.
Right.
They're reliable. They're cool. They're expandable. They're all sorts of stuff. I almost bought one, actually. Yeah, very dog friendly. I almost bought one before the Forester.
Yeah.
I drove a 5-speed, and it was not that exciting. But, I mean, obviously it wouldn't be. I just thought it might be, and it was not.
I feel like anytime you get into a car that has a manual, you're like, okay, this could be fun. Yeah. And you're like, oh.
Yeah. It's a trap.
That was the Jeep Renegade for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this is pretty sick. I hope that this comes to fruition.
Totally.
I think they're onto something.
I think they'd sell a gazillion.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And it would certainly outsell the Santa Cruz.
The Honda Santa Cruz.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, looks good. To me, it makes sense on paper, but something about the Santa Cruz just doesn't really add up for what it's supposed to be. I think the cargo area is too small on that particular car, and then it gets like 20 miles per gallon. Yeah. And, compared to the Maverick, which has up to 40 miles per gallon in a slightly bigger cargo box, and it doesn't look as great, in my opinion, I guess, but it just makes more sense.
Yeah,
and it's
I agree on the cargo.
It's about $15,000 cheaper.
Yeah.
It was when it came out.
Yeah. I am a big fan of gigantic grills on cars.
Yeah, I mean, it looks sick.
But I don't like the grill in that car.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
I don't think so. It's one of my least favorite large grills in a car. It's just really out there. I feel like it doesn't match the rest of the design.
It's all up in your grill.
It is. Exactly. Speaking of being all up in your grill, Red Bull is joining the world of hypercars with the RB17. This was announced in 2022, and if you're not clear yet, this is a car, a literal vehicle that Red Bull wants to make, and they're going to make, and they're making it now. And it features a custom semi-stressed, mid-mounted, Cosworth-derived V10 engine with more than 1,200 horsepower and can rev to 15,000 RPM.
Insane.
Also, if you were like me and did not know what a stressed or semi-stressed engine is, you get to learn something right now. A stressed member engine is where an engine is used as an active structural element of the chassis to transmit forces and torques rather than being passively contained by the chassis with anti-vibration mounts. Automotive engineers use this method for weight reduction and mass centralization in vehicles. So there you go.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I'd never even heard of that term before.
Also, do hypercar companies make money? Like, it seems like there's so much development that goes into this stuff. I mean, Red Bull's obviously like a gajillion dollar company.
Yeah.
But it costs so much to manufacture, like to develop and manufacture, and then they sell like 3.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think it's all show pony stuff, right? At that level, it's just like, hey, look at this cool shit we can do that you can't do because we have more money.
I mean, they're the leading F1 team right now, too.
Yeah,
like,
that as well.
It's a fucking energy drink company.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they do the whole lifestyle thing, blah, 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 blah.
Marketing, baby, it works.
Yeah, they slayed.
Yeah. And this car, by the way, slays. This thing looks very cool. Also, I like how the engine revs to 15,000 RPM, but that's just digitally limited. So it could go higher and higher and higher. Who knows?
Unreal.
Wild. But there's your news.
Yeah, well, that's some good news.
Yeah, it is.
That is some good news.
Except for the 55-inch screen.
Yeah, just don't break it.
Mm-mm.
All right, this week we're covering July 30th through August 5th in automotive history. I got a quick question for you to kick this off.
Get me.
What year do you think that the last original Volkswagen Bug was produced? The air-cooled rear-engine VW Bug.
Late 70s?
July 30th, 2003.
What?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
No way.
The very last Volkswagen Type 1 Beetle is built. It is number 21,529,464, making it the most produced single platform car ever. The last one, a baby blue example, was built in Mexico.
What?
So the last German-built VW did leave the assembly line in 1978, but they kept building them
slightly good
elsewhere. Yeah. Interestingly, the Type 2 van, the same iconic van, remained in production until December 2013 in Brazil, I think.
What?
Also, maybe Mexico. Yeah.
This is, I had no idea.
Pretty wild, right? So the reason that they stopped making that original Beetle is because it became a law in Mexico that taxi cabs had to have 4 doors, and these were almost exclusively being used as taxis.
Wild. Okay, this makes me wonder about so many things. The first is, this one that rolled off the line, this last one, what sort of upgrades or updates did this vehicle have? I wonder, in comparison to the same vehicle that they were selling decade after decade. Like, I wonder what really improved over time.
That's actually a really good question. I don't know. I mean, also, I think like safety regulations are a little more lax south of the border. So I don't know that it was equipped with airbags and that type of thing, but
no airbags, we die like men.
There it is. No, that's a great question. I would need to look into that to see what they really did, because I think mechanically it's pretty much the same car that came out in the 40s.
Crazy.
Minus a few things here and there, but
I bet
probably got like disc brakes or something.
Yeah, let's hope. I bet the like Mexico VW modifying scene on these is probably epic.
I mean, I would love to get a 2002 Volkswagen.
Yeah, totally. Especially a baby blue one too.
Right.
This thing looks hard.
Looks good.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Anyway, now you know.
Love it. July 30th, 2015. The all-new 2016 Scion IM is named one of Kelley Blue Book's 10 best back-to-school cars. The criteria was simple. Quote, new vehicles recommended for students that aim to not only bridge the gap between practicality and functionality, but also deliver a fun and stylish package for about 20 grand or less, unquote.
Yeah, I'm going to guess this list doesn't exist anymore.
It's just an e-bike?
Yeah, basically. Maybe a Vespa.
Basically. The IM was a 4-door hatchback with a 1.8-liter 4-cylinder engine with 137 horsepower, and it was based on the Toyota Corolla hatchback, which I had forgotten about until I, saw a photo of this and thought, wow, this looks exactly like the Toyota Corolla hatchback.
Makes sense.
Sadly, Famously, Scion went belly up in 2016, making the IM one of the rarest models from the automaker, with an alleged 1,397 total sold.
One was for sale locally not too long ago. I was actually peeking it.
You know, I feel like I've seen a fair amount of these on roads. I feel like, unless I'm just seeing a bunch of Toyota Corolla hatchbacks. But I feel like I've seen a number of these, more than I would think based off this production number.
That's interesting. I mean, yeah, also, I feel like we live in an area where they probably sold all 1,300 of them, being on the West Coast, and then like Port Town, they just got them to Tacoma, and they're like, just take them.
Yeah,
please.
just take them. Yeah, they're $5.99.
All 1,000 of them are here.
Yes. Well, and this probably explains my imagination. The vehicle then became the Toyota Corolla IM for the 2017 model year. So I forgot that they moved the name over. That's right. And if I'm not mistaken, they also introduced at the time, maybe even with this vehicle, their auto rev matching on a manual transmission in that car, where you didn't have to rev match yourself to be able to downshift in the car.
Well, what, you don't know how to drive?
That's exactly what the press release probably said. You don't even know how to drive anymore. It's all good. We got you. Don't even worry.
Wham, bam.
Yeah.
Take us to the moon, Jordan. I think this is one of my favorite facts, but get us there.
You're going to give it to me, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. July 31st, 1971. U.S. astronauts David Scott and James Irwin became the first people to drive on the moon.
Bam!
The out-of-this-world cruise occurred during the Apollo 15 NASA mission, with the buggy taking to the lunar dust the day after their craft made a successful landing. The lunar roving vehicles, known also as LRVs, were built by Boeing under contract from NASA for Apollo missions 15, 16, and 17.
I wonder if the doors fell off.
Maybe. You never know. God damn. Such a timely reference. The first came to a total cost of $38 million. The moon buggies weighed in at about 460 pounds each, very light, and were foldable for easy transport. It's cool.
Not a lot of space on the spaceship.
Yeah, totally. They had four-wheel steering, very nice, very forward-thinking there, and designed a top speed of 8 miles per hour. Now, however, during this Apollo 17 mission, astronaut Eugene Cernan recorded a top speed of 11.2 miles per hour, giving him the unofficial lunar land speed record. All three of the LRVs remain on the lunar surface. Absolute GOAT, dude.
Right? And this is why China's trying to go to the moon, just to break the lunar land speed record.
Totally. That's why Musk is trying to get to Mars. He's like, I just gotta be the guy to drive a Tesla X amount of miles an hour on Mars. That's actually so badass.
You're the only one, right?
Yeah. Literally. Yeah. Not only did you go to space, but you're also set the moon land speed record.
That's so wild.
He tried too.
Oh yeah.
He's like, I gotta just.
He's like drove it into a crater.
Yeah.
Just downhill, gravity's against him.
I love the note too. Just all three of them remain on the lunar surface. Yeah, because he like totaled all three of them probably. Tokyo drifting those things. That's amazing, dude. Wow, incredible fact. That might be one of my favorites.
It's a good one.
So good.
And just for anybody who thinks the moon landing was fake, just turn this podcast off.
Yeah.
August 1st, 1948, Polish car company Fabryka Samochodów Osobowicz.
Yeah, that's pretty good, I think. I don't know.
Pretty close. My Polish wife coached me on that a little bit. Commonly known, thankfully, as FSO, is founded. The name literally translates to Passenger Car Factory, which is a very original name for a communist country.
That's so delightfully Polish.
Right.
Love that.
So I didn't know this. I didn't know a lot about FSO, but I was reading about it, writing these notes. And so in 1990, FSO was sold to Daewoo, the Korean car company, which I think a lot of people probably don't remember.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a fringer.
Right? Late 90s, I think they came to the U.S. My neighbors actually had one, and so I think that makes me one of about 5 people to have ever ridden in a Daewoo in the United States.
It's like almost like holding the lunar land record.
So true. But Daewoo went bankrupt. FSO came under control of the Polish government, and then they ended up making a deal with Chevy to produce the Aveo in the Warsaw factory, and they made about 100,000 of them in 2011 until the production license expired. And at that time, FSO just started making car parts, basically. Exhaust systems, McPherson struts, fuel tanks, and that kind of thing. And they still do to this day.
Weird.
So they're just a producer of automotive assemblies.
Huh.
So
kind of a sad, boring end.
Yeah, but funny enough, they're actually, I think, like super profitable and doing really well just as a manufacturing company.
I bet. Well, yeah, they're no Fisker. Wild.
I saw a Fisker Ocean the other day.
No way.
At the Stone's Throw, parked at Stone's Throw.
Did the person
I was waiting for them to come like to the car so I could be like, how do you feel about this?
Yeah.
They never showed up. They probably just threw the keys away.
How close? Yeah, for real. How close did you get to it?
I mean, it was like parked across the street.
Okay, because if you would have walked closer, you probably could have like looked down into the cabin, and I bet the owner was like in the fetal position, like crying. Maybe. I feel like that's maybe what was happening.
Oh my god.
Was it red?
No, it was like a blue, dark blue.
Okay, I think I actually have seen that one around town.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to myself, that's a nice looking car.
Nice. The coolest part about them is the rear window rolls down like an old RAV4, or not RAV4, 4Runner.
Yeah, that is cool.
Right?
It's like the most requested missing feature on all cars. People love that.
Just roll the back window down. Come on.
Yeah. Speaking of Toyota things, August 2nd, I was referring to the roll down window Toyota things.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, okay. Just wanted to connect the dots.
I got you.
Okay, I love it. August 2nd, 2012. Automotive journalists get their hands on the all-new Toyota Rav4 EV for the first time. This new electric SUV was set to go on sale later in the summer. The Rav4 EV had an EPA estimated driving range of approximately 100 miles, which was at the time the longest range of any non-luxury EV. It charged in 6 hours on a 240-volt 40A charger. Interestingly enough, this vehicle was a result of a partnership between Tesla and Toyota. It features a Tesla-designed and produced battery and EV powertrain with Toyota's existing SUV.
That's crazy. I didn't know that Tesla was doing all this partnership kind of stuff too early in their development.
I didn't know this at all either, and it's really interesting to see how obviously Tesla has blown up, but also how we always make the joke that's not really a joke about how the RAV4 hybrid or Prime is like the car to beat still. Right. And it's interesting. I bet Toyota got just as much out of this as Tesla did, and back and forth.
For sure. I mean, what I think was happening here is Tesla was testing their battery systems, their drivetrain systems, just with an existing vehicle. And then they're like, okay, we can dial it in. And then they just plopped their own body on it.
I wonder what would have happened if they didn't get to have that partnership with Toyota.
Oh, interesting.
Because that's like as big of a partnership as you could get, basically, right?
Totally. Absolutely.
I bet most of their R&D for those first Teslas mass adopted
came through here.
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd they have to lose?
I guess nothing. Bill Fay, Toyota Division Group Vice President and General Manager, said, quote, arriving fully equipped with an MSRP of $49,800, the RAV4 EV is a practical, versatile option for the EV enthusiast, unquote. Don't know what those are.
Well, I love that language at this time, because that's really what it was. This is way before like EV was going mainstream, but it like you had this and you had the Nissan Leaf essentially as your EV options. You
could basically just say like he might as well have just said a versatile option for the electricity nerd. I feel like it would have translated better. Like at the time, what does EV enthusiast even mean?
Also, $50,000 for a 100-mile range EV.
True. Although, I mean, at that
untested.
time... Yeah, untested, yeah. I guess 2012 wasn't that long ago.
But it's like the early in the EV days.
Yeah. Interesting. That's a very, I feel like, not widely known, but very important fact to know.
Totally.
Yeah. About cars that virtually everyone is driving and buying.
Totally.
Interesting.
The two most sold vehicles.
Yeah, basically, that are now complete competitors.
Man.
Cool.
August 3rd, 1928, Korean automotive designer John M. Chun is born. He is the first recognized Korean auto designer, actually. Nice. And he went on to join Shelby America in 1967 and led design on the 1968 and 69 Shelby GT350 and GT500 Mustangs. He also redesigned the Shelby logo, which is still used to this day.
The snake.
Iconic. Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolute goat mode. Love it.
Yeah, so sick. Anyway, he'd go on to work for Chrysler and Hyundai before leaving the auto industry, opting to work for Tonka.
Yes.
Where he made toy cars.
I love it. Everybody's got to have that moment where you're like, I got to pull a plug, you know?
Just do something. Well, I mean, it's different, but it's like he's taking the same skills and just downsizing.
Yeah. I'm sure the risk is a little bit lower.
A little bit.
Love it. You get to play with the same shit, but you don't have to worry about the risk anymore. Love that. Yeah, this is like the generational equivalent of like millennials quitting their corporate jobs and like opening like an organic honeybee and postcard shop in Billings, Montana.
So true.
Yeah, and they like don't sell anything and they're out of business in 6 months, but at least it was fun.
Yeah, they gave it a go.
Yeah, why not? You got a little taste of the other side that you thought existed, then you found out not this many people need to buy honey and postcards in the same location.
You use the honey to make sure the stamp sticks to the postcard.
Yeah, there it is.
Innovative.
There it is, dude. Oh my God.
I know we're always coming up with $1 million ideas on this podcast. That might be the best one.
Yeah, this really isn't a car podcast. It's actually just like a business idea incubator for everyone else to go take these ideas and make a bunch of money. So just, put us in the credits or something. I don't know.
Bam.
August 4th, 2018. Acura reveals the facelifted TLX for 2018. First introduced for the 2015 model year, the TLX is designated as an entry-level luxury sedan. As of 2021, it is the flagship sedan in Acura's lineup. I've always liked the TLX.
It's a pretty car.
Really nice looking.
Yeah.
Has aged very well.
I think so, yeah.
The new one is very cool. And I believe there's 3 trims, and the bottom trim is such a dumb name. It's incredibly dumb, and the 2 other ones are way cooler. And
they have actual names. It's not like
they do have
1,
names.
2, and 3.
They do have names. Yes. They have the base, the technology. Just that's it.
That's the name.
The trim.
The technology trim.
And then they have the A spec. They have the Advance, the Type S Performance, blah, blah, blah. They have lots. But, Type S
spec
is cool.
Yeah.
Maybe A spec is kind of cool. And they're like, hey, what if we just named it Technology?
Does it come with a 55-inch screen? That's called a callback.
I wish. Yeah, exactly. That is totally a callback. Well played, well played. I've always liked those cars. I think they're cool. It's one of those, like, very Acuras.
For sure. One of my prime Acura stories is a friend of mine had an Acura Legend, from like the 90s. Right?
Oh, beautiful car.
Really nice car.
Yeah.
She locked the keys in the trunk, and we were like far out. Like I think like a group of us had gone camping or something, and she locked the keys in the trunk. Like no service, couldn't get AAA. Like we could not get into the car or into the trunk at all, and so the seats didn't fold down, so we took the cushions off somehow, like got the cushions off the back seat and just cut a hole through the like rear, like behind the seats into the trunk.
Dude,
so we could get out of there.
You gotta love it.
Tore up the Acura.
This is a very weird tangent, but an equally cool tangent. As cutting a
was
hole
that a cool story?
through the back of the car. No, it was cool. What's even cooler though is Ludacris, your favorite rapper.
Let's hit it.
Still owns his 1993
I've seen that.
Acura Legend.
Yeah.
Was it the same Legend?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was me and Ludacris, and we were just camping.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Love it. Same gen though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful gen. He's kept it since when he was young and hadn't made it yet. And what's really rad is in 2015, the car was actually restored entirely, and it was shown at SEMA.
Oh, wow.
And it is so badass. It's
Dude, we got to get our SEMA passes.
I know, right? Yeah. So apparently it only took 2 months to complete, but the restoration involved bringing the car back to its original factory specs before adding some other mods, like some 18-inch raised wheels, some new tires.
I kind of wish he just went full stock with it.
It looks very stock. It's very, very, very period correct.
Okay.
It's even almost champagne, and the interior is kind of champagne-y. And it got lowered a little bit, little camber kit, all that kind of stuff. But it's such a cool.
What was the first car you bought? Not like given to you from your parents or whatever, but like first car you bought.
Oh, God. I actually don't know. I mean, I bought them from my parents.
Oh, okay. I mean, that counts, I guess.
So I guess it would have been this piece of shit Mazda 6 that I bought from my mom. And it actually was not a piece of shit. My mom gets mad every time I talk about how it's a piece of shit.
She listening to this?
Maybe.
Sorry, Jordan.
I guess I'll find out.
Yeah.
No, it was like a gunmetal gray 06 Mazda 6 automatic. And to its credit, it was a very nice car.
Sure.
They looked nice. The interior was leather. It was totally cool.
You're rolling.
I just hated driving it, but I bought off my mom for like, I don't know, maybe like $5,000, maybe $6,000. But it had low mileage, and I probably could have driven that thing forever. But the most annoying thing happened to me with that car. It was an 06, and the one thing it was missing was, hey, a screen, go figure. And this was right around the time after I bought it from her. It's like when we were all starting to like plug iPods and iPhones into cars, and you want to be able to play like with the aux cable.
Yeah,
right?
You had no aux plug-in.
Right, and so there was no aux plug-in, right? And there was no way to modify it. I used to have like tape deck things and like my old Corolla. Those ruled, by the way. Tape deck aux connectors were amazing.
I don't know how it works.
Yeah, me neither. And the Mazda 6 didn't have a tape deck and didn't have an aux port. And so I actually ended up bringing it to a Mazda dealership because I was like, I need a way to be able to play music in this car, or else I only am listening to like this Spanish music station forever. And I sat at a dealership for like 3 hours as they took the whole center console apart, and they determined that for that 1 year of vehicle, it was impossible to install an aux port or an aux cable out of that car.
What?
Like, it's literally like the only car ever for that 1 year you couldn't even modify it to do it. And I remember being so fucking mad that I had wasted an entire day there, and I couldn't like listen to Ludacris in my Mazda, that I was like, I gotta go. I hate this. I hated it. And I
just left it at the dealer.
Basically,
just walked out.
I wish, but that was like the main reason why I got rid of it.
Wow.
Yeah, totally dumb. But
total late teenager thing to do.
Very much so. Yeah. How did we get here? Anyway, Acura, way cooler than Mazda, at least the Mazda 6. But very cool with the Ludacris thing. Look it up. Look up some photos of his Acura Legend. It's awesome. Looks nice. And I can't remember how many miles are on it, but it's hundreds of thousands.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Does he still drive it?
I believe he does. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right. I couldn't get through the episode without something from 1899 or 1800s.
It's impossible.
August 5th, 1899. This is actually really important. The Detroit Automobile Company was organized, which is Henry Ford's first attempt at creating a car company. It failed, of course, for financial reasons or otherwise.
God, what a loser.
Yeah. And then he started the Henry Ford Company, which also bit the dust.
God, why doesn't this guy just give up?
No way. Third time's a charm, right? Comes out with the Ford Motor Company in 1903.
Oh, yeah, and that one did it.
But imagine if, the Detroit Automobile Company was his success.
Yeah.
And, we're driving around in Detroit automobiles to this day. The Detroit Automobile Focus.
Yeah, this is, hey, this is my Detroit Automobile. It's got the technology trim on it.
I would love it.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
All right, round us out here.
All right, what do we got here? August 5th, 2015. Audi announces pricing for its brand new 2016 A3 Sportback eTron, which was a plug-in electric hybrid. With an MSRP of $37,900, buyers could expect up to 17 miles of electric-only range before the gas engine took over. The Audi launched in October of that year. The A3 Sportback remains in production for 2025, although it doesn't have a plug-in hybrid version available. And the A3 e-tron, which was Audi's first mass-market plug-in hybrid, was not a huge sales success, and they only sold apparently 637 of them in the UK in 2017. Even still, to this day, Audi insists the decision to kill off the car was because of, quote, procedural changes, unquote, and not poor sales.
I really hope people call them up and they're like, why did you, still call them, why'd you get rid of that car? And it's like, procedural changes.
I'm going to start saying that all the time.
Yeah.
Anything's going on. Why are you late? Procedural change.
Best excuse ever.
If it works, it works, man.
If it works, it works. I do like that Sportback though. Like it looks really, really sharp.
Yeah, I've always liked an A3. I would never buy one. I don't think it's quite my thing. I'd rather go for a Avant, like full-on wagon. But I do like what the A3 stands for, and they do look cool, and they do look even cooler when they're modified.
Wham bam.
Yeah.
All right, that does it for the history.
Easy, quick.
We're cruising.
We are cruising. Cruising USA, perhaps.
Dude, have you been to the arcade here in town? They got Cruising USA.
Like 4 here.
Right on Railroad.
Yeah.
Right. We're talking about all the local stuff, but there's a sweet arcade, and they have Cruising USA.
Do they?
Like side by side. Let's go race.
They're the best, man. I used to play that on the ferries.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, remember that?
Man.
Cruising USA and then Cruising World.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. Classic. I would say that was one of the more formative car video games for me, actually, as a child.
For sure. I had a steering wheel for Nintendo 64 and played that game with
No
it.
way. Mm-hmm. Wow, you were way in.
I got it.
Damn.
I got it.
That's interesting because I feel like a lot of people always talk about Gran Turismo being their like entry to car video gaming. It wasn't. It was like Cruising World for me, I guess.
Yeah,
and I'm just
sure.
realizing this now.
Is this therapy?
Yeah. On air therapy sesh right now.
Oh, man. I should start charging you.
Yeah, I guess so. Speaking of therapy, let's get some listener mail. What do we got here?
Well, a couple weeks ago we were talking about Lee Iacocca getting fired from Ford, and John L. had a little note about that.
Let's go.
This was yet another chapter in the little family business that is Ford Motor Company. The game goes something like this. Ford family member is in charge, makes some boneheaded decisions that show painfully on product, which then affects profitability. An outsider is brought in to help right the ship, make a lot of big decisions in a short period of time, gets product better, sales and profits go up, things get comfortable again. Then, the family puts one of their own back in charge, they make some very uninformed choices, product goes downhill, sales and profits follow, bring in another outsider, rinse, lather, and repeat.
I feel like our boy John's got something personal. He's got some beef.
He needs to take a ride in the Wienermobile.
It's true. Also, I feel like that's also just the story of virtually any business or large corporation ever.
Yeah, I mean, it is unique that, well, I don't know. I mean, maybe there's a few car companies where the family is still involved to this day, because, like, right now, well, Chris Farley. Jim Farley.
Yeah.
Actually, his cousin is Chris Farley. The CEO of Ford's cousin is Chris Farley.
What?
Yeah, straight up.
So that like wasn't just a random slip up. That is actually like related to this.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone on planet Earth knows that except for you, and I think you just blew everyone's mind. Are you serious?
Yeah, for real. Look it up.
That explains again why yet another famous person is famous. If you go into IMDb and you look up any actor and you look at their bio, that motherfucker knows somebody or is related by blood to another famous actor. You do not become an actor without being blood related to some other actor, director, producer in Hollywood. I swear to God, every actor I've ever looked up. But this is a great example. Like Chris Farley, dope, but I knew you had a little sneaky connect, my man.
It's an interesting connection for sure. I thought people knew that. I don't know.
No, I've never heard that in my life. I thought you just made like a total Bumble, and it was not that. Speaking of callbacks,
Bumble could sponsor us.
Bumble, good idea. Yeah, I'll follow up. You told me what a callback was earlier, and I'm going to call this back. Speaking of boneheaded decisions here from the Ford Motor Company, it'd be a bonehead decision to not like, comment, subscribe on this podcast.
Look at that. Ayo.
Yeah, don't be a bonehead.
Don't be a bonehead.
Where can people find us?
We're on the gram, This Day in Automotive History, or Drive History Pod. Facebook at This Day in Automotive History --Drive History. Of course, automotivehistory.org. And you can email us, which is the preferred method, at contact@carsandcopymedia.com. Send us your questions, hate mail, love letters, all of the above.
Do it. And follow me, Jordan B. Stead, on all the socials, some of the socials, depending on what I'm checking this month or the next.
Get on his LinkedIn.
Yeah, hit me on LinkedIn. Hit me with a LinkedIn DM. I dare you. Somebody DM me on LinkedIn.
You know, it's just going to be somebody saying, it's time to get your MBA.
Yeah, some bonehead.
Some
Love
bonehead.
Well, thanks y'all for listening. Thanks for tuning in. As always, we appreciate you. We're going to stay here if you stay here, so stay here.
Keep riding.
Yeah, until then.
Drive history every day.
Adios.